If you thought Gypsy Rose Blanchard was stepping back into a quiet, drama-free life, think again. Because her latest TikTok live didn't just stir the pot, it flipped the whole table. What was supposed to be a heart-to-heart quickly turned into one of the juiciest plot twists the internet has seen in months. And trust me, the tea here is piping hot. So picture this, Gypsy logs onto TikTok live for almost an hour, looking like she's ready to bare her soul. She promised answers, honesty, transparency, the whole shebang. And what did she give us? Chaos. Pure, delicious chaos. Every topic she touched somehow spun into contradictions, raised eyebrows, and major side-eye from viewers. Let's start with the reality show mess. Gypsy tried to brush off her cancelled Lifetime project like it was no big deal, saying the network's audience was too old for her vibe and that her fans are younger, cooler, and on TikTok. Cute explanation, but fans weren't buying it. Why? Because not too long ago, Gypsy was all over interviews calling that very show her dream project. Like, girl, pick a lane. Was it your dream or just a detour until something better came along? And here's the kicker, before anyone could even finish side-eyeing her, she casually dropped that she's already talking to Hulu and Netflix. Hello? If it was really about audience mismatch, how are you already hunting for the next deal? Fans are convinced she didn't walk away, she got dropped. And instead of admitting it, she's rewriting the narrative like she's editing her own reality show.
The show. So I know a lot of you have been asking in my comment sections, is there gonna be a season 3? Okay, so what happened with that is season 2 ended and we were not sure if we were gonna get picked up for a season 3 or not. So we were in a time period of where it's like we're not filming. And life happens, you know, stuff was happening, like I got off parole. And they wanted to make sure they captured that just in case there would have been a season 3. So we did film the day that I got off of parole. My friends were there, so they got to experience the whole filming process and everything. It was quite a night. I wish y'all would have been able to see that night. I know there was like little bits on social media. But we went hard. It was a lot of fun. I was happy to have my friends there to experience it with me. But I want to say when I was vacationing in Miami with my dad, Christy, Aurora, and Ken, I got a phone call from the network, and they let me know that there's not going to be a season 3, and the reason why is because Lifetime Network, their demographic of viewers have an age range, okay? And so their age range is above my, I guess, demographic. So I usually age range the demographic from like 18 to 30, whereas their network, their main viewers are usually in 40s and 50s. So they basically understood, and this is a problem that we had been having from the first season and the second season. We were seeing that a lot of the viewers that are interested in watching my story and watching my life unfold, we're part of a generation that has streaming. We want to watch it on streaming. Well, Lifetime is a network based on cable. And so there was so many people that's like, I can't find it. Where do I find your show? And I'm like, it's on cable. And so a lot of people had to go on apps like Friendly or Next Day on the Lifetime app. So it was not as available as a potential streaming service could have been to our show. So in a sense, we, over the course of, these seasons, we started to see that the partnership between my show and the network, we tried to, make it merge in a way that it was mutually beneficial. But we were seeing that it just wasn't the right platform for my show. Because of the age demographic that is watching.
Now, onto the real whiplash moment, Gypsy's speech about wanting privacy. She begged for peace, begged for a break from cameras, begged for a quiet life with no spotlight. Cute, right? Except she was literally saying this while live streaming on TikTok, spilling all kinds of personal tea, her finances, her marriage, her daughter Aurora, her future projects. Like, babe, that's not privacy, that's premium content. The irony was so loud even her fans couldn't ignore it. The internet quickly clocked that what she's really doing isn't stepping away, it's rebranding. She's packaging herself as a reluctant storyteller, someone who doesn't want the attention, but somehow keeps giving the internet exactly what it wants. And honestly, that's not retreat, that's strategy, but the drama didn't stop there.
For just a life of quietness, of silence, of no social media, no television show, nothing like that. But I had been in these contracts for so long. So finally, now that my obligations are done with season 2 and there's not going to be a season 3, I told my manager, you know what? I don't want another show. I don't want you to pitch it to another network. I just want to be done. Can we just be done? And he's like, you know, obviously he's my manager, so he's going to do what's in the best interest of, you know, the bottom line. As well as to me, you know, Mike and I go way back, and he's been a figure in my life that I respect him a lot, and I respect his opinions. But I was like, you know, I understand where you're coming from, that there is a lot of people that is interested in my life. I understand that. But I'm also just me, and I'm just a mom. Like, I'm not a character in the act. I have a real life going on.
Enter Aurora, the baby that everyone is dying to know more about. Gypsy made a big, emotional promise. No one will ever see her daughter's face, not for any amount of money. Sounds noble, right? But TikTok wasn't fooled. Because by making such a dramatic declaration live on camera, Gypsy basically made her daughter's privacy the centerpiece of her public persona. Fans started pointing out that it's another classic Gypsy move, share just enough to stay relevant, but hold back the one detail that keeps people hooked. Like dangling a shiny object in front of the audience and saying, "You'll never touch this." And you just know people are going to keep watching, waiting for the slip-up. The whole thing left viewers asking one big question: is Gypsy genuinely conflicted, or is she playing the internet like a fiddle? Because every time she insists she wants peace, she somehow finds a way to drop more drama. Every time she claims she's over the cameras, she magically appears on TikTok spilling her guts. It's giving, I hate attention, but also here's an hour-long live stream about my life. What makes this even messier is how divided people are. Some fans think she's lost, spiraling, and just trying to figure out life in real time. Others are convinced she knows exactly what she's doing, carefully curating her image, milking her story, and monetizing every single contradiction. And honestly, both could be true, because let's be real, Gypsy has been in the spotlight her entire life, and she's learned how to turn pain into publicity. And just when people thought the contradictions couldn't get any juicier, Gypsy dropped the ultimate mom bomb. She doubled down on her claim that TV execs actually offered her more money if she'd show Aurora's face on camera, but she proudly said, absolutely not. Sounds noble, right? The protective mom narrative was strong, until minutes later, she was weaving Aurora into nearly every other sentence. Fans noticed that while she won't show her baby's face, she's more than willing to sprinkle in little details, first words, milestones, daily routines. It's like dangling a carrot in front of her audience, just enough to keep people invested but never enough to satisfy the curiosity.
Aurora's birth was supposed to be the last thing that we filmed. Well, Aurora had came earlier than expected. She was due on January 22nd, and I didn't expect to have her a few weeks early. So we still had a good 2 months of filming to still do. You know, my hope when I did, I think it was Good Morning America, I was like, I don't want to have Aurora on film. I don't, if they get the birth, that is all that I'm giving them is the birth, and we're not even gonna show her. Time came, December came, she came early. So we did not expect that curveball. So then it became like, okay, they want to film 2-3 weeks post her birth. And I'm like having conversations with the network, and I'm like, listen, I have already said, you guys hear the thunder out there? I don't want to have Aurora on camera. I'll give y'all the birth, I'll give y'all that. But I don't want to have my daughter grow up in this life, okay, where she's being scrutinized, she's being talked about, she's being posted. I don't want any of that. I lived that life, and it sucks. It sucks. Yeah, it sucks big time. And so we ended up making an agreement that she would be shown, but like in abstract, creative ways, like far away shots, her face is blurred, her little hand, like different ways to where it's not just full on her. And even to the week before the last episode, sorry, that scared me. Good Lord, it's really bad out there. Even as far as the week before the final episode came out, and that whole thing happened with the Easter pictures that Ken and I had taken her to go see the Easter Bunny, and we put the heart emoji over her face, and someone used AI to try to remove it, but they plastered another baby's face on it, or it wasn't her. At the end of the day, it wasn't her. So I tell the network about it, and they're like, well, since someone has been trying to put Aurora's face out there, wouldn't it be powerful? Wouldn't it be better for it to come from you, and give you the opportunity and you the power back, instead of all these other people trying to sneak pictures of her and everything? And I'm like, no. And they're like, we could look into possibly a bump up in pay of the episode if you unblur her face. Okay? No amount of money thrown at me is gonna make me change my mind. I don't want to show my daughter's face. I am trying to respect her privacy. And yes, I'm a mom. I would love to be one of those moms that could post her kids on Facebook and enjoy being a mom that way, showing how beautiful my daughter is. I would love to be that kind of mom. I scroll past my friends on Facebook all the time taking pictures of their kids, and I'm like, oh God, I wish I could do that. But because I am who I am, and because these people that have opposing opinions of me, or very strong opinions of me, that they take it far beyond a dislike for me, should I say, they take it beyond that, and I'm not gonna put her in that position. So I'm trying to do what I can to protect her. So I was like, with respect, no, I turned down your offer. I'm not gonna accept more money just to unblur her face. And this is all things, everything that I'm telling you right now, I'm only able to tell you because I'm no longer under a NDA with the network. I'm no longer under any sort of like gag order where it's like, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that. It would be a breach of contract if you do this or if you do that. It's all over now. So what you see is what you get now.
TikTok creators wasted no time stitching the clips, pointing out how she phrases things like, I can't show her, but she's adjusting so well, which of course sparks speculation and endless comment sections. The gag is, this strategy creates a kind of manufactured mystery. Aurora's absence becomes the obsession. And instead of shutting down curiosity, Gypsy actually feeds it, letting her daughter stay the center of conversation while never fully crossing the line. Even her story about the network wanting Aurora unblurred became its own mini-drama. Was it true? Was it exaggerated? Either way, it made Aurora an even bigger hook. But the contradictions didn't stop there. Money talk quickly became one of the most dissected parts of the live stream. Gypsy swore she wasn't broke, but also not rich. She said she had savings, but no steady income without a show. Then in the same breath, she explained she used to pull in thousands from TikTok's creator fund but doesn't want to overshare anymore. Cute, except that while saying she's done monetizing her life, she slipped in plugs for her artwork, dropping prices, stock updates, and reminders to check out her shop. Fans clocked the soft marketing immediately. It was giving, "I don't want to sell my life anymore, but here's the link in bio." She even admitted she can't take up a normal job because people won't leave her alone, which set up another paradox. She complains about harassment, but still leans on TikTok lives, Q&As, and even hints at more TV deals, literally the things that fuel public scrutiny. And let's not forget, TikTok detectives dug up receipts from past sponsorships and paid appearances, putting her money struggles into question. Suddenly, people were debating whether she's truly in financial limbo or just curating the image of scarcity to drive more sales, memberships, and sympathy. Then came the emotional curveball. At one point she broke down, saying she'd hit rock bottom and even thought about ending it all, crediting her husband Ken for pulling her back from the edge. The moment was raw, heavy, and it changed the whole energy of the live stream. But here's where things get messy. The timing of that confession landed right as backlash against her was peaking. Some fans felt it was authentic, a real cry for help under the pressure. Others, though, saw it as yet another pattern. Whenever criticism gets too loud, Gypsy leans into vulnerability to soften the blow. In stitched clips, creators called it the sympathy loop, pointing out that every controversy is soon followed by an emotional reveal that reframes her as the victim. And if that wasn't enough whiplash, she dropped yet another bomb: she's done with advocacy. Yep, the same Gypsy who once proudly declared she wanted to fight for Munchausen by proxy awareness and prison reforms suddenly shrugged it all off with, "Nobody made me the savior of the world." Fans were stunned. Was this exhaustion, or was she cutting ties with activism because it doesn't pay like TikTok lives and merch sales do? Commentators quickly pieced together old interviews where Gypsy swore she'd use her platform for change, and contrasted them with her new stance. The timing couldn't have been worse. Right as she's pushing artwork, negotiating TV deals, and building a personal brand, she's stepping away from the very advocacy that first gave her legitimacy. To her critics, it looked like a complete pivot, dropping collective impact in favor of cashing in on personal narrative. When you peel back the layers of Gypsy's so-called family healing arc, the picture isn't nearly as polished as her soundbites suggest. Sure, she'll go on camera praising Mia, calling her a great mom and saying she's proud of her, but the way she circles back to old wounds tells another story entirely. It's almost like the compliments are sugar sprinkled on top of a much heavier truth. In one TikTok live, she casually drops that she used to be jealous of Mia because Mia grew up with their dad and got access to a life Gypsy never had. Then, instead of leaving it there, she keeps revisiting the theme in different ways, hinting at favoritism, unequal opportunities, and a childhood that left her feeling left out. Fans who've been keeping receipts noticed the repetition, and they've stitched together clip after clip showing that these moments of vulnerability might actually be strategic callbacks, meant to keep the drama simmering without ever fully boiling over. And then there's the so-called social media exit routine. At this point, it's practically a series with multiple seasons. She'll go live and declare she's done with TikTok, that she just wants a quiet life away from all the noise. But within hours, sometimes days, she's right back, posting Q&As, promo content, or cryptic updates that just so happen to coincide with whatever controversy has her name trending at that moment. Commentators have already pieced together timelines proving that she's staged at least 3 different goodbyes in a single month, each one followed by new monetized drops, exclusive art sales, or dramatic narrative updates. The pattern's hard to ignore. Every so-called break doubles as a reset button, giving her an easy way to switch the storyline and reel the audience back in. TikTok isn't just watching, it's dissecting. Creators pause her live streams frame by frame, comparing what she said last week to what she's saying now. They're pulling clips from older interviews and stacking them against her latest confessions, pointing out contradictions and rewriting the timeline in real time. And the audience? Split right down the middle. Some people are convinced Gypsy is drowning in pressure and just doesn't know how to set boundaries with fans, brands, and networks breathing down her neck. Others argue she's fully aware of the sympathy cycles she's creating and is using them to her advantage, building suspense like it's a Netflix show, with cliffhangers designed to keep her at the center of the For You page. The reaction has spiraled beyond just Gypsy. Parenting creators are weighing in on whether it's ethical to bring Aurora into the conversation at all. True crime audiences see this as another chapter in how Gypsy manipulates her public image post-prison. Watchdog accounts are tracking her monetization like it's Wall Street, showing how claims of financial struggle appear right before a new product launch or collab announcement. And the hashtags tell the story. Hashtag Gypsy Rose Live, hashtag TikTok Mom Drama, hashtag Sympathy Cycle. They've exploded, each one pulling her further into the cultural spotlight. At the heart of it all, the contradiction is impossible to miss. She claims to want privacy but packages her most personal disclosures at peak engagement hours. She says she's stepping back from advocacy but positions herself as the star of her own branded universe. She insists she's not playing the game, yet her every move, timed live streams, vague confessions, carefully worded exits, plays straight into TikTok's algorithm. What looks like inconsistency to some is starting to look like a carefully engineered survival strategy to others. So the big question remains, is Gypsy really just a woman trying to balance new motherhood, past trauma, and sudden fame? Or is she a strategist who's figured out that turning real life into episodic content is the fastest way to keep her audience hooked? The jury's still out, but one thing's for sure, whether it's chaos, catharsis, or cold calculation, she knows exactly how to keep the tea flowing and her name trending.